Now the other day, this is only 2 or 3 days ago, a friend of mine, I don't know how he arranged it, how he sorted it out, but he got hold of one of these new Triumph 400 scramblers, which, to be honest with you, doesn't really look that much like a scrambler. Anyway, he'd borrowed this thing, he'd got hold of it for the day. Now, I didn't have a camera with me, sadly, but anyway, he let me have a go on it. I was out for a little blast on the bike, just very local, and I just, purely by chance, I bumped into him, and he let me have a go on it, and it was it's a pretty looking bike. It's not the kind of bike that I'm in the market to be buying. But it was okay, it wasn't too bad. But some people, this happens with motorcycles and cars and probably lots of other things as well, but some people, if you snap them in half, it would say Triumph or Honda or Kawasaki or Harley Davidson or whatever all the way through the middle of them. Now, I've never been built like that. I've owned all sorts over the years, and the reason I bought this, I have owned Triumphs before, and the likelihood is I may well own them again. But the reason I bought this bike was I could see a bit of potential. I like the look of it, and I could see a bit of a potential to make it look even better, even more sort of retro. And that was my whole reasoning behind it, and it was a damn sight cheaper than a 1200. And I just thought, well, I can do things. If I can save that kind of money, difference between a low mileage one previous owner 900 and a brand new 1200, which I'd very nearly signed on the dotted line for, I thought if I can save that kind of money, I can do an awful lot of things to the 900 to personalise it, make it fit with me and my style and my way of doing things, and greasy on the road, actually, just on the damp patches. Yeah, so that was my reasoning. It's not because I'm particularly pro Triumph or pro or anti anything else. It was the look of the thing and the amount of money I would have spared to spend on the thing, and I don't regret it. I've ridden a few other bikes since, people I know at the bike nights. I'm not going to go into detail, I didn't film any of it, but for example, if you really, I think you know my feelings about using these kind of bikes off-road. It's not really an off-road bike, so why would you? That's always been my reasoning. But if you did want this kind of bike and you were going to use it off-road, you want the Ducati, because that is way better off-road than this is, or one of these would be. And yeah, you know, kind of horses for courses, swings and roundabouts. I think the Triumph's very good at looking good. Certainly the 900. The 1200s are I think I'd go for an XC if I was going to go for a 1200, because the XC is too much of a compromise. It's a a bit too heavy, a bit too leggy in the suspension. It's got the performance and it's decent at most things, but not great at anything. At least that's how I found it. But we're all different, aren't we? Anyway, this 400 Triumph, it was nice, but I think, I'll be honest, I think you're buying the badge. If you really want a Triumph, then you are going to be having one of those things. If you want a mid-size, I guess you'd call it kind of a starter bike, I think I'd go for the one I really like the look of, and I have ridden one, is the Honda, is it the CL500 Scrambler. That's a cracking bike, and I think that's the one I'd probably go for. And I think it's slightly cheaper than the Triumph as well. It's difficult for me to comment on a bike from a class that I'm just not interested in owning or buying. So I guess there's two reasons why I don't do reviews. One, because nobody's brave enough to lend me anything and let me film it, because I am going to kind of say it how I see it. And the other one is, it's difficult to, I think it would be difficult to be objective if you're not actually, if you haven't got an interest in that segment of that market. So you look at it differently, you know. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But the more I get into this bike and keep altering it and messing with it, the more I keep thinking I want to own an old, another old Meriden air-cooled Triumph twin. I keep seeing various old bikes at Triumph Owners Club functions and do's and bike nights and just out and about. I mean, they're quite old British bikes. Seem to be very popular now. I think they've probably always been very popular. There's plenty of them around. Run over something, I just hit something like a rabbit or something, I think.